Imagine a high-level executive with genius-level analytical skills. You can drop a massively complex problem on his desk, and he can instantly break down every variable with perfect clarity. The analysis is flawless, but when it actually comes time to pick an option and execute a plan, he freezes. He has to turn to his subordinates and ask them to make the final choice for him. How does a mind process incredibly complex data perfectly, yet completely fail to make a basic choice? This suggests that a brain's ability to solve a puzzle is entirely distinct from its ability to choose a path forward. We often describe the brain as a machine, assuming that a massive hard drive and a fast processor are the only requirements for success. Take a person with high-functioning autism. Their memory hardware can be astonishingly robust. They might be able to recite the exact minute of every single goal scored in a past World Cup. Yet, that exact same brain might struggle to retrieve a highly relevant, immediate fact, like where they set down their backpack just 5 minutes ago. The data flows into long-term archives, but the pathway required to retrieve recent spatial data breaks down. The biological hardware is fine, and the neural networks are doing their jobs. The breakdown happens because the system directing those networks is malfunctioning. Without a manager, these cognitive tools sit idle. Neuroscientists identify this coordinating system as the executive function. This system resides here, in a shaded area at the front of the skull known as the prefrontal cortex. Think of this area as the CEO, sitting on the brain's top floor, tasked entirely with coordinating all the lower-level sensory and motor factories. Effective cognitive performance relies on how this executive region regulates and deploys data into the real world. Every second, you are bombarded by countless sights, sounds, and physical sensations. The prefrontal cortex filters all of this chaotic input to decide what actually matters for your immediate survival. Consider a man who suffered a localized stroke. His memory and motor skills survived, but his executive function was destroyed. One evening, his wife sliced her hand open chopping vegetables. She screamed, pointing to the blood on the counter and the bloody kitchen knife. He rushed into the kitchen, assessed the scene, picked up the knife, and meticulously washed it in the sink, completely ignoring his bleeding wife. He understood his wife was hurt, but his broken priority filter pushed cleaning a dirty object to the top of his list. Perceiving a crisis and correctly prioritizing a crisis are two entirely separate neurological functions. A healthy executive function is highly agile, capable of overriding your current agenda in milliseconds. Imagine a doctor giving an academic lecture. His working memory is holding tightly onto his presentation notes, but suddenly, someone in the audience faints. In a fraction of a second, his brain dumps the lecture notes and retrieves medical emergency protocols he learned decades ago. This cognitive agility extends downwards to subconscious physical tasks too, like planning the exact motor sequence required to lift a glass of water. Before your fingers even touch the glass, your manager calculates its estimated size and weight, anticipates the temperature, and dials in the exact intensity of muscle pressure you'll need to apply. From executing a life-saving medical pivot down to ensuring you don't crush a water glass, the prefrontal cortex acts as the unseen director of human action. We all exist somewhere on a spectrum of executive functioning. The people who excel in high-level leadership positions usually possess an elite ability to filter chaotic stimuli and focus on the essentials. But for most of us, this exact same brain region experiences frequent, everyday microglitches. Take the host who realizes her local bakery is out of a specific pastry she wanted for a Saturday gathering. She drives across town to find it, returning home 30 minutes late, only to find her frustrated guests have already left. She prioritized a pastry over the act of hosting. Or consider the chronic latecomer who feels a sudden overriding compulsion to mop the kitchen floor 5 minutes before they are supposed to leave for the airport. Chronic lateness and missing the big picture are often literal prioritization glitches misfiring inside the prefrontal cortex. Recognizing these behavioral quirks as management glitches is the first step toward correcting them. When you feel overwhelmed, you have to actively intervene to separate the main event from the sideshow. If the main event is catching a flight, the side quests, like mopping the floor or buying a specific cake, must be consciously routed into a delay bin. Ultimately, functional intelligence lives in how effectively that internal manager directs every move you make.